it's good to be back. I'm Dan Card.
And I'm Bree Vandepaul. This day can literally change the course of your life if you let it. This day is so much more than a conference. I can't wait to see what happens for all of you in a couple years with the things you take, a couple days from now, a couple weeks from now. So yeah, let today matter.
And so with that, welcome to CultureCon. It's funny, whenever we get engaged in a rebranding project or something large scale like this, it's never because, we don't like our colors and, we just want to get new colors. No, it's because it just doesn't feel like who we are anymore, right? We're growing or we're changing. So ask, and ask everybody. And remember, challenge is love, right? Because we're passionate about our brand. We're passionate about our cultures. That's why we're here. And so when we come with passion, expect passion back. And remember, challenge is love.
Research has shown that when you deliver on human needs, it can lead to better business outcomes. So when employees feel like they belong as a member of the organization, they're really connected to its mission and its culture. And when they are connected like that, they engage more with what the company is doing, and they have greater interest of what the company is going to produce. And so their productivity goes up in line with that. And so these bottom line gains and concepts like productivity and retention lead to intangible increases in engagement and ultimately innovation for your organization.
And Inc. says the biggest truth most leaders don't understand about the resignation: flexibility is just a minimum. Yeah, you need hybrid work. Yeah, you need flexibility. But employees want to work at a place that they feel connected to, with a mission and a purpose and team members that they care about. The flexibility is just table stakes. So the world is changing. We need to change with it.
So the experience this morning so far has been eye-opening. For one, just kind of the energy is awesome. Hearing the stories, hearing the passion that everyone's bringing to all the speakers. It's just been an awesome environment.
I'm hoping that everybody walks away with this with some action steps that they can take in their personal and professional lives. It's been great to be here and great to see so many familiar faces and know that as a community we're kind of all in this together, and we're going to make our workplaces better. We're going to make our community better, and it's fun to be a part of it.
I'm shouting out to Justin. We talked about personal branding. That's what you want people to talk about you. You want people to know about your own values. And so that's what it really comes down to. You are a reflection of this community, and our community is a reflection of us. And so we want people to have different personal values. Of course they're connected, but how are we gonna make sure that our community vision, what's 2020, 2030, 2050 gonna look like? We are the ones that have to determine that, and we can start with our own personal values.
Representation matters. It matters to the little Hispanic girl who sees a doctor or a scientist and grows up to be a scientist. It matters to that indigenous boy who's treated by a Native American or Native indigenous person in a hospital or a doctor. And it matters to a little boy or immigrant boy like myself that I too can become an educator.
The most magical pieces of life live in the uncomfortable moments, in between breaths, not in the absolutes. We like to live in a world that's good, bad, right, wrong, because it's easier. That's not reality. We know that. That's not real. So live and make those decisions that make you uncomfortable. So my question to you is, are you courageous enough to be uncomfortable?
When you're running this race, when you're preparing it, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start walking before you start running. Your life also has to start somewhere. You have goals, you have ambitions to do certain things. When you have these goals, you gotta set your own pace. I mean, my coach always tell me, Benson, run your race. Sometimes, a lot of the time I don't listen, and guess what happens? I run into trouble. So setting your own pace in terms of, you gotta look at yourself and say, who am I as a person? What goals do I have?
In order to figure it out, in order to get through it, sometimes you have to operate at 51%. And what I mean is you have to be trying. You have to do something. But you have to be trying, because if you're done trying, you're done. You see, to figure it out and get through a difficult time, you have to remember that your winning record against hard times, against difficulty, against mental illness, against whatever it is 100%. If you're in the room, if you're in this chair, you did it. You won. Your winning record is 100%. The only hard day was yesterday.
I talk a lot about the fact that change in a city or in a community happens at the local level. Okay? There's not a lot that they do in DC or even in Pierre that affects your day-to-day life. And I'm sorry, any legislators in the room or anybody federal level, but the community, your local community, is where stuff happens. From a government standpoint, it's your water, it's your roads, it's all that stuff, but from the community standpoint, it's your nonprofits, it's events like this. This is where like the sausage gets made, is at the local level.
People may be familiar with our major phrase here, Think 3D, which is a culture will emerge, whether intended or not, but if it's not one that you invest in, it will be certainly one that you pay for. The same is true of your story. If you do not tell it, someone else will tell it for you, but a story will get told. And people always fill in the blanks negative. But it's a situation where we have to craft our stories. We have to tell people what we believe and who we are, how we feel about our clients, how we feel about our team, how we feel about the people who are around us, how we feel about our talent.
If you don't have a custom personal definition of what success means to you, not to somebody else, but to you, what do we default to? Society's definition of success, which is money, power, fame, which we all know subconsciously that's not the road to happiness for everybody. And so we have to start to ask ourselves, what is my path? How do we start to envision forward? The future belongs to those who create it. If we're sitting on the sidelines waiting for someone to create it, there's only so happy we could expect to be. There's only so much expectation we can have in terms of our success. But the future belongs to those who create it. And so with that, friends, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for showing up willing to engage in today. And thank you for joining us for CultureCon 2021.